Welcome back to this channel, guys. Welcome back to another video of mine. I'm glad that you're here. Today we are going to be talking about the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I recently got this. As y'all can see, this little thing is definitely a game changer, and I'm excited to talk about it and give you my honest opinion on a device such as this. So let's get into it. Before we begin our video and discussion on this, we're gonna have to transition from the camera I'm filming to this camera. Let's go. Ah, there you are. Thought that was pretty cool. So I've been testing out this camera for about 2 weeks now, if I'm being totally honest with y'all. I ended up vlogging a little bit of a football game that I went to. I also went to one of my friend's wedding. So far, this little camera has been very impressive. First off, let's talk about the design. It's super compact, lightweight, and it fits perfectly in your pocket, literally. The build quality feels premium and with a smooth matte finish. My favorite feature right away is the rotating 2-inch touchscreen. It automatically switches from vertical to horizontal depending on how you hold it. It's perfect for YouTube and vertical content like TikTok and or Reels. Something that I also found that I really like about this camera and it's taken me by surprise is that there's actually a 1-inch sensor, which is mind-blowing considering the size of this device, and it has the ability to shoot up to 4K and 120 frames per second, which is pretty crazy for a device like this, which means that if you want to do slow motion footage, you can now do this in 4K up to 120 frames per second, which is, I think, is more than enough for a grab and go type of camera. That is if you're into capturing slow motion footage. All right, guys, I actually got a little tired of just sitting there. As you can tell, it's probably a little cold. So let's get to walking a little bit and talk about this camera some more. Actually, guys, before we start walking, let me actually show y'all a really cool feature that this thing can actually do since we're standing right here still. So if you actually wanted to track, or if you've ever thought, how can I get this camera to track, or does this camera track? It does actually. It's ActiveTrack 6.0, and that's actually really good when it comes to tracking your face and keeping you in frames. I'm recording my screen, as you can tell. I'm gonna show y'all that you can use the little DJI Mimo app to do this. And you could do this on the camera itself, but since I'm using my phone, I figure I'd show you on the screen recording. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab from maybe, let's say, the top or whatever, and draw a square around your head. And now, when you're moving around and talking, the camera actually tracks you. And you can tell it to track you pretty slow, pretty fast, whatever speed you can possibly want. I find that the smoothest motion right now, it does great, and it makes it for like a very smooth going back and forth. So if you're ever interested in something like that, you could essentially have it tracking you, and I thought that was a pretty cool feature. So do with that what you will, and comment down below if you're enjoying this video, and if you have one of these, what do y'all use this for? I'm definitely curious as to what y'all are using this for, and maybe y'all have any tips on how someone like me can use it to enhance my quality of videos. But yeah, let's get to walking because I'm freezing, and there's a lot of walking around to do. So let's go. So another feature that I wanted to talk about is pretty much if you like to color grade or do any type of color grading, color correction, you can actually use this because it has that 10-bit D-Log. And again, I think I've mentioned in my previous videos that I'm not into color grading or anything like that. So what I normally do is I normally just use the regular setting like that comes right out of the box, where I don't have to color grade my videos or anything like that, or touch it up or anything like that. What I do recommend though is that you turn the sharpness down by like either 1 or 2. Normally, from what I've seen, a -1 on sharpness. It does pretty good, and it keeps it from like being too, I guess, too digital. To me, it just doesn't look right when it's too sharp. So that's another thing y'all can do, or adjusting y'all settings when y'all get this camera. The autofocus is actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty super fast, and I mean, as soon as you get off focus and you get back onto focus, it automatically like finds you and puts you in focus. That's another thing I'm pretty pleased about. I don't know about y'all, but I was looking into getting a gimbal back in the day and kind of here recently. And those things are really bulky, right? Well, this camera actually has a 3-axis gimbal already built in. When you're walking, kind of like what I'm doing right now, or when you're shooting on the go, the camera actually has the ability to stabilize your footage mechanically instead of digitally. And as all of us people know that work with video and stabilization, digital stabilization, should I say, is not the best, because it crops a lot of our video. And especially if you take a really close-up shot, especially when you're like vlogging, then a lot of that gets cut out, and you tend to end up with like a zoomed in version because it tries to stabilize it. Well, if you're using this camera, you don't have to worry about that. At least, disclaimer, not as much, because I have noticed that the camera does tend to bop up and down when you're walking. But compared to, let's say, a point and shoot camera, or a camera that doesn't have this gimbal, it's actually pretty much a game changer. But just be aware that if you do get this camera, it doesn't eliminate the bopping, or, you know, a lot of that tends to come down to how you use the camera and how you shoot. So maybe you may have to adopt a little bit of funny walking, or, you know, try to walk as smooth as you can when you're using this camera to minimize that, you know, of course. But the camera itself does a very good job at stabilizing it, but just be aware it's not going to eliminate it completely. So another thing that I do want to touch up on is how awesome this camera captures low light. So when I was videoing at my friend's wedding, it did amazing when it came to like dark scenes, capturing the light, capturing the colors. I just can't say enough good things about how good it is when it comes to low light. What I do recommend though, because I made the mistake of not using the low light setting, if you do use the low light setting, it actually does pretty good. But if you shoot the video in the regular video, you do tend to get a little bit of noise, graininess. But of course, if you can adjust the settings, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And if you really use the low light settings, that for sure it's not going to be a problem. So just be aware of that, because I made the mistake of not using that. Another cool thing that I didn't think of using when I was vlogging, when I put out my first video using this camera, is that the camera itself, even though you're connected to a microphone, the camera itself has a built-in backup where you can enable it to capture the audio that the camera's microphones pick up, and it puts it in a different file. And so essentially, if I want to capture like the ambient noises of the park, then I can use that file to add it on top of what I'm saying on the mic. Essentially, it's an amazing feature to have and not need, but it comes in clutch when you do end up needing some ambient noise. So battery life, let's talk about that. They claim that you can film continuously for like about 2 hours, which I have not put that to the test because I don't know what I'd be filming for 2 hours. But when I used it over the weekend, I noticed that the battery life pretty much held up. And I plugged it into the quick charger just for the sake of it. But I didn't need to, if that makes sense. I think I just did it more for peace of mind. But what's also good about it is that if you need to plug it in, if you have a quick charger, it can actually charge it up to 80% in like 16 minutes, which I think that is pretty crazy. Because to say, you know, you're driving between here and there, you plug it in, even if it's not 16 minutes, you're still gonna get quite a bit of battery charge from point F to point B. So I thought that was pretty beneficial when it comes to, you know, a pocket camera. Who is this camera for, right? I would think that it's someone that just doesn't need a highly expensive camera. And then don't get me wrong, this camera was a pretty penny. I think I remember getting it for $5.99. If you're the type of person that just likes vlogs, likes doing content creation, and essentially if you just want something to record, just something you can just pick up and go, I think this camera does pretty good. And it hits that sweet spot. It's tiny, it's easy to use, and the video quality, I think, is pretty good. Let me know in the comments below, what do y'all think so far about this video quality? Because this is an actual test of me using it. I'm not gonna do anything to edit the image quality. Everything that I post in this video today is gonna be showing you the raw footage, no image processing, no nothing like that. Just the only thing I'm gonna do is probably lower the volumes, up the volumes, and pretty much just slice here and there. So that is my promise to you, that everything you're gonna see is pretty much the raw quality image from the Pocket 3. My final thoughts on this. What would I rate this camera, honestly? If you were to seriously ask me what I would rate this camera, in my time of using it, in my time of testing it, I would rate this camera a solid, probably a 9 out of 10, somewhere in that category. There's definitely things that could be improved, but honestly, this is a great setup. If you're looking to upgrade your vlog setup, if you're looking for a tiny camera that you can just pick up and go, this is it. And I definitely think that you will be pleased with the video quality that comes out of this camera. And it is an investment, don't get me wrong, but I think it's an investment well spent, especially if you're a content creator. Guys, if y'all made it to the end of this video, drop a like, comment, and subscribe, because it honestly helps with me staying motivated, making these videos and stuff like that. And it helps the channel grow, which is something I'm trying to do. And it's almost the end of the year. And I set a goal to myself for 500 subscribers, but I don't think I'm gonna make it, but hopefully I can make it to at least 200 by the end of this year. But with y'all's help, I can get there. So thank y'all again, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.